Welcome, everybody, to Talking Elite. I hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. We are talking tonight the top 5 women wrestlers. But before we get into our conversation, let me introduce you to my tag team partners. We have down below, we have everybody's favorite bearded wonder. He looks like Dax Hardwood. Welcome to the show.
What up?
Next is the founder of the All Elite Zone podcast. He is the producer, Mr. Connor. Thank you guys so much for being on tonight. What did you guys think of the introduction this week? Do you guys like that? You guys got the energy going? Because after last night's
legend
dynamite, yeah, we're gonna keep the energy going tonight for this podcast. Last night was kind of a bummer, but we're gonna have a great show in store for you guys today. And then stay tuned because at the end we are going to discuss some of our favorite Christmas moments in wrestling. So hope you guys are ready, and I am super excited for this episode. I do have a very interesting top 5. I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to stack up with your guys's. So, Adam, would you like to go first?
It's always me starting these top 5.
Would you like Connor?
I don't know what's up with that. No, it's okay. I'm okay with starting it. So again, last week we did the top 5 male wrestlers, and like you said, tonight we're doing top 5 females. And just like the top 5 males, like my list has been up and down for weeks on that, and just this week alone, because people have been jumping, things have been happening in the women's division. But my number 5, barely beating my number 6, but number 5 for me is Athena. Her debut was awesome. Just seeing her debut in AEW with the Fallen Angel gimmick, to some of the matches she's been having. I mean, some of the people downplay the matches, but hey, her feud with Jade was good, and the baddies, whatever. But Athena's always been a great wrestler in my eyes. Back when she was even Amber Moon in WWE, enjoyed her time there. Some of her independent stuff is great. If you look up her old matches on YouTube, like during the independent scene, she's a workhorse. And then her moving forward this year, going into 2023, is the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Well-deserved title for her as well. I feel like it's a good push for her. Good face to have for the Ring of Honor women's division there once they get the new year started. And I will say this, number 6, very hard to push, and I know we have our feelings with it, but Jade was number 6, but Athena barely beat her. So Athena number 5 for me.
I feel like Athena's had some better matches this year, even though there was the whole speculation of her sandbagging or striking too hard. But I love how she spun it off into this great character. And especially being there the night that she won, the ROH championship, that was a cool, awesome moment, especially because it's her hometown in Dallas. So very, very good pick, Adam. It was kind of a hard one. When you get to my pick, it'll make sense because I actually have Athena at number 6 for me. She was very, very great this year. And I think next year she's gonna be one of the most talked about women wrestlers in any company, not just AEW or Ring of Honor, but I think she'll be one of the most talked about names next year. If they can keep her momentum going, she's hot. Kids are liking her. Hopefully she'll keep that going. All right, Connor, what about you? Who is your number 5?
Number 5 for me, there's a toss between Serena Deeb and Athena. I put Athena at 6. I'm going with Serena Deeb. She's had a very great year. Her match with Thunder Rosa at Double or Nothing this year was very, very good. She's listed on every pay-per-view except Full Gear, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Full Gear was the only one that she wasn't on.
I was at All Out. The Fatal 4 match was very, very good. She was in. She may have even been at the Dynamite Grand Slam Fatal 4. I don't know. But she's been at every pay-per-view this year, I think. But yeah, I got Serena Deeb at number 5. I think she should be TBS champion right now. She's a very good technical wrestler. She's a great coach for sure in AEW. But yeah, I think Serena Deeb just had a very great year this year with a lot of great matches. she's definitely stepped it up for the women's division, like set it to a whole new bar with Tony Storm. With the main three, I feel like it's Tony Storm, Ruby Soho, and Athena from WWE. Like they have TV experience. They know what they're doing on TV. And along with someone like Serena Deeb, who's very good technical wrestling, was there before them three. Like she's stepping up the bar, and them coming in, the bar's being set up higher for the women's division. Yeah, I got Serena Deeb at number 5.
Very good pick. Unfortunately, she was in my top 10, but
Same,
I think with Serena Deeb, I think like I said, she's always looked solid. She's never had a bad match, and I liked her professor gimmick. And I think she could do what Cody did with the TNT championship, where you bring up new stars, you have people coming outside of the company to challenge her. I think she'd be a good next champion. Hopefully they'll see something in her next. I know she hasn't been on recently just because she's probably been busy with training students, but definitely a good. Yeah, but definitely a good solid 5 pick, Connor. My number 5 is very controversial just because I talk a lot about how I thought her act was stale, but just because she has been consistent on TV this year. She's been consistent with her TBS championship. At least she's somewhat defending the belt. I'm going to go with Jade for number 5. Like I said, it was hard because I didn't want to put her on the list, but I cannot ignore the fact she was undefeated. She has had a consistent amount of TV time this year. So I thought, she was a good number 5. She did have a solid match with the Beast, Nyla Rose. So I thought I did see some promising aspects of her there. And then also she has crossed over into some other markets besides wrestling, where I've had people at work that talk fashion that know about her. So those reasons right there, she is my number 5 pick.
Well, also wasn't not just fashion, but before wrestling career, she was a model. I mean, that's
she
right?
was a model.
She was
I
modeling.
believe she did I think she was in the WNBA, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Okay, yeah. And to follow up on Connor's pick, I actually had Serena Deeb at 7, like literally right behind Jade. So that honestly, I couldn't agree more with putting Serena Deeb in the top 5. Like I said, it's very hard with these lists. So
yeah, especially because the next 4 were kind of the hardest to place, at least for me personally. And like I said, this whole I know top 10 lists are usually, and any list in general is it's so hard because there's a lot of opinions involved, but it's one of those things that with my next number 4 pick, I think you guys will agree with it. So I'm just gonna go straight to my number 4. What's up?
Is it Sabrina Shavir?
No. I'm not even bringing that on.
That's a problem.
She didn't make it on the list this year. Good luck next year.
Well, you said Jade first, so you never know if.
Number 4 actually is my number 4 pick is Britt Baker.
Mine too.
Really? Okay. So then I guess me and Adam will tag teaming it for this one. So Britt Baker, she didn't have really any good pay-per-view win or big match wins this year, but she did put over Jamie. She has done a good job at building up Jamie Hayter, where, of course, we're going to hopefully see that match very soon. Of course, putting over Saraya in her first match back and carrying Saraya through that whole moment. Giving Thunder Rosa her first victory in a crazy cool steel cage match. So I guess just looking at that and just how her character is always entertaining on Dynamite, it's something I don't get sick of. She knows her part. She knows her character. She gets the fans involved, airtime with the DMD. So that's why she was my number 4. Adam, why were we on the same page on this? What is your thoughts with?
No, and I pretty much agree with you. Even though she didn't have a lot of victories this year, again, she carries that women's division. She was TK's girl from day one. I mean, she was the first female signed to the promotion when it launched in 2019. And literally every year she's been consistent. She's been on TV every single time, whether it's a talking segment, whether it's out in the ring, whether it's a match. I mean, some of the tag matches her and Serena Deeb had with, Tony Storm and I keep forgetting who the other one was in that fatal 4-way. But those tag matches, with Athena, her group with her, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter. I mean, she's pretty much the leader of that group. I mean, that's her faction. Just basically, she's been carrying that women's division, and she's really good on the mic. I mean, she knows how to be a talker on the mic, and she was doing that all year. And I will give you one example: is I know she was a little rusty, but Soraya's first in-ring promo it fell flat, and then Britt Baker came back and kind of picked it back up. She kind of saved that segment that on that Dynamite, and that just shows you the professionalism of, okay, how can we save this? It's nothing bad about Saraya or anything like that. She's rusty, but even with her match with Saraya, she carried that match. She worked that match to help with Saraya's pace. And just playing to the crowd, playing to Saraya's brother in the crowd and everything like that, putting her over, working with Jamie Hayter, getting Jamie Hayter to that level. And honestly, I see her in 2023 regaining that women's title, being the first two-time women's champion in AEW. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things that she's a very talented wrestler. She's definitely came a long way since they tried making her a babyface in that first little run, but she's definitely came a long ways. And I think, like I said, 2023, I think it's going to be another big year, whether it be, hopefully she'll win the championship back and be the first two-time, women's champion. Or one thing I like about Britt is you can put her with anybody and be a main event program. So I think even if she doesn't get the championship, I still feel like she's going to be a big name to talk about this coming year.
I totally agree.
All right, Connor, who is your number 4 pick?
Number 4 for me, I got Chris Statlander.
Ooh, okay.
She was pretty much active the entire year. She came back at the end of 2021, I believe. She came back around Miami when they first went back to crowds. I feel like if she wouldn't have got injured, she would have been TBS champion by now. She's had a very great year with her character transformation from going to an alien character to a more serious character. Her look, her theme, everything about her, like, not that her alien character was bad, but to be you could tell they were really trying to push her to win the TBS championship. That's what their plan is, to save that for her. Stellar's put on a lot of good matches this year. I can't picture one because there was multiple good matches she's put on this year. But yeah, I got Chris Statlander for this one. Mainly her match with what was it? It was a tag match. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. But it was. I know one of the opponents was Layla Hirsch, right?
Oh, that was a great match.
Yes.
Because she built Layla Hirsch up.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely one of the ones that. She's one of the biggest workhorses in that company.
I mean, that's what's sad about it. I know. Sorry, Connor, not to kind of stop you there, but with the feud between Chris and Layla was so good. That was actually one of my favorite feuds going, and I really thought before both of them got injured, they were going to carry that a little bit more to eventually getting Chris Statlander into the TBS title picture. But yeah, no, I think you got a good pick there. Sorry, but continue.
The match was Revolution. It was Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander singles match. That was a very good match. It was a valiant match. They put on a very good women's match. Stellar's had a lot of other good matches. I think she's going to get Serena Deeb this year. And she teamed up with Athena a little bit this year as well. All those matches were pretty good. I like Statlander's new character development, her new gear. I hope they do like a character personality switch. Like you have the alien, and you have the other side, Chris Statlander, like kind of like Danhausen. I guess if Danhausen even does that anymore.
Evil Hausen.
He probably will.
But I like Statlander. I think when she gets back, which I hope that's their plan still, is for her to take the title off Jade, and Jade just go off in the sunset, doesn't come back for a couple of years. I got Statlander at number 4.
All right, interesting. It was an interesting number 4 pick for all three of us.
I feel like Layla Hirsch would be in my top 5 if she didn't get injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once she gets back, I think she'll definitely be a one of reckon with on that roster.
Right, she had a great start.
Yeah.
She had a great start for the year. Then
even with all the Ukraine stuff, when fans are booing her just because she was from Russia, she was only like that was not. We won't go to that story, but man, I was like upset with fans of that. I'm like, dude, it's not her fault. Like, she's not a Russian. She's American. She's American, full American citizen that is just from Russia. All right. Good.
All right. Are we moving on to number 3?
Yeah. Number 3. Adam, what is your number 3 pick?
So number 3 may be crazy for a lot of people, not just you guys, but everybody watching.
Ooh, okay.
Just because I popped hard for it, and it was good to see her. Saraya is my number 3.
Okay.
I popped hard when she showed up. I heard the song playing. I was like, who is that? Like, I recognize that song. That cannot be Saraya. And then her name popped on the screen, and I went nuts. And I was like, holy cow, she's in AEW. After the years of the neck injuries and what got me interested more is I researched that song, found out it was Falling in Reverse, and her boyfriend's the lead singer of that band. So now I like Falling in Reverse. But it's Saraya for me. It's so great to see her back in a ring. Granted, it's been about 4 or 5 years since she's actually been in a match. So it's great to see her finally back. I know she's got a lot of ring rust to shake off and everything like that. But seeing her on the mic, getting in the ring, that match with Britt Baker, the way it paced itself and the way she was working herself, even the pace of the match was perfect for Saraya, and she was selling, and she never forgot how to sell. And that's what I loved about it. And just, and after last night's Dynamite, we all watched it. We all reacted to it. We were really excited for that end there. When she showed up to, help out Toni Storm and Sheeta and pretty much set up this female trios match against Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter, or who knows, maybe even Jamie, because Rebel barely gets in the ring, but maybe Jamie reaches out to Serena Deeb, and Serena Deeb teams with them again. That would be a great trios match. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Saraya in 2023. Do I think she wins the women's title? Maybe. Maybe one last run with a title before she officially is done with wrestling. So.
I do want to point out with Saraya last night.
I'm so glad that she was able to come back this year.
Yeah.
Saraya has been doing the super, the kick for a while. She never used to do that in WWE. She's just not done that. And last night it really took off. She really, she got that down pat when she, I can't remember who she hit with it.
She hit Britt. She hit Britt Baker with it.
Britt. If you look at all her other super kicks and that one, she's got it back now. It took a little bit, but that looked very, very good. She's definitely getting back into it. Because being out of the ring for 5 years, CM Punk wasn't out of the ring for, he was out 7 years, but he wasn't out of the ring. He still was in the ring. He had a mask on for an indie show, I think, one time. At Pro Wrestling Tees, he took a few bumps, I think. So he was still active somewhat, but Saraya hasn't been. So,
you also have to look at not just active in the ring, but also just active, staying in shape. When he did, even though his career in MMA wasn't great, he was still in shape.
Yeah,
he was still taking hits and falling to the mat.
Yeah,
a lot of people like to trash Saraya, but they weren't trashing her when she first debuted. But I say give it. I think she's already progressed in the ring from last night. So I give it a few weeks and she'll be back to where she was.
Yeah, I think she'll have a good proving ground. And from the looks of it, I think she's been training outside of AEW. And I'm glad they're giving her a good chunk of time between the matches, and just to see her come back after that terrible injury. Same thing with Edge and Danielson, where we thought they would never come back, and to see them come back in full and wrestle on a pretty much permanent basis now.
It seems like everyone's came back. That would never wrestle has come back except, Tyson Kidd, but yeah. I don't know.
And then I will say another thing about professionalism in the sport. Saraya reaching out to Sasha, because Sasha was the one that actually put her on the shelf with just a misstep in a move at a house show, and she finally told her, "Hey, I'm back. You can forgive yourself. You're good. Like, we're cool now. Like, you can't blame yourself. It was an accident." So that's also professionalism in the industry too. That's why I also Saraya has my respect as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it's good to have that. And I know they were close, even when everything happened. So to know, like, hey, it was just a freak accident. It's something personal, because I don't want, because if I was me, I don't want to be, Bret Hart, where Goldberg's tried to apologize many a times and say, hey, like, I'm sorry, but Goldberg moved on. He doesn't hold it. Like, he's like, you know what? If he's gonna hold a grudge, I'm not worrying about it. I'm glad that both those girls had the opportunity to get that relief. Hey, I didn't end my career on a bad note, and I didn't end someone's career on a bad note. So I'm glad that everything worked out. All right, Connor, what's your number 3?
Bret Hart's not going to let that go. He's not going to let that go. I see him at a interview, and he was talking about Brock Lesnar, and he was about going against Goldberg, and he said that I heard that he was very more professional than Goldberg. Like, I heard that he was more professional guy to wrestle. Yeah.
Wow.
Fair enough.
A little side note too: if you didn't see footage from NXT on Tuesday, I guess Braun Breaker, Steiner's son, and Grayson Waller did a homage to the infamous spear with the metal plate from Goldberg and Bret Hart. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was like,
I'm gonna have to go watch that after this.
Good ode there.
So awesome. My number 3 is Britt Baker. It was really hard for final 3 for me. I got Britt Baker at number 3. I thought she was a very great heel character for this year. No matter what feud she was in, whether it was Britt Baker, or whether it was Ruby Soho or it's coming to me, Tony Storm. Who's the main one I'm trying to think of?
Thunder Rosa.
Yes. Her matches, like, that was that's probably the best women's feud that they've ever had. I think Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm's catching up there. The match at Full Gear was very, very good. I still think that's the best women's match in AEW. I was there to witness it, and it just feels different when you're actually there. But last night's was really good too. But besides them two, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa has really up the bars for the women's division. Like, they were the first main event in AEW. They were the first women's steel cage match. They were the first women in AEW to go through tax, I believe. Have a lights out match, I believe.
First women's cage match.
Yeah, the first steel cage. Dave. Britt Baker's a very great heel. They got to pull the trigger at some point with her and Jamie Hayter. They can't keep on doing that, because I feel like
close.
I feel like Britt Baker's gonna cost her the title.
I don't think necessarily going to cost her, but I think
I don't know how they're gonna, because they've done this twice, I believe now.
So my only thought process in that would be Saraya finally getting that championship moment, and Britt Baker somehow screwing it up and making Jamie lose.
Her coming out
trying to
help Jamie, but
and then Britt will win the title from Saraya and kind of feud with Jamie over it. So I mean, that's the only ideal, realistic thing I can think of is how they start that feud.
Yeah. Even Britt Baker, she's even outside of AEW, she's grown the AEW fan base. Like, there was people I went to Comic-Con this year. There's people that didn't know about AEW that she met those cosplayers, and they liked who she was. I don't know if they started watching AEW or not, but Britt Baker's a amazing talent to have. As Adam said, the first women's wrestler signed to AEW. She's been with AEW since day one. Still wish her theme had lyrics. I don't know if I've seen you guys that, but her theme has lyrics. But
I've never heard the actual lyrics. I've heard.
I honestly like her song music without the lyrics. Like I get pumped no matter just hearing the doctor will see you now and just the beat and just
I
like
just want to hear it one time.
I just like it. It just
I just
like
wanna,
I can do without the lyrics. It's just a really good beat.
like I just want to have the lyrics just to listen to. I don't have to have the entrance. They never released it. I just want to hear it one time because it did sound good. But Britt Baker's she's a better heel than a face. All of her feuds this year has been good and a great heel. I'm really looking forward to what Britt Baker does this next year in 2023.
Yeah. So my number 3 pick is another workhorse of AEW. It's Sheeta. So I think she's had a very great year. She's had a good mix of wins and losses. She's another one of the ones in the women's division that has came a long ways from when she first debuted. Her promo work has gotten a lot better. She's had some great matches with almost everybody on that women's roster. I think she's going to be another big name, hopefully, that could retain a championship down the line. And I'm excited to see how 2023 is going to be with her. I had to put her high on that list just because she's worked with everybody. She's been on Dynamite, Rampage, Dark Elevation, Japan. She's been everywhere this year. She's had a really good year, even though she didn't hold the big one. I think she had a really good year, and I think she's another force to be reckoned with on that roster.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. Especially the match last night.
Yeah.
With Jamie Hayter, it just shows that she just can just work across the ring from a lot of good performers. I'm gonna steal a textbook saying that Bubba Ray said today on Busted Open. He said, you're only as good as the person you're standing across from. And putting those two women in the ring together, the match was magic. And as much as I will tell you guys right now, my 1 and 2 is not Sheeta, and it really hurt me to do that. But also just because she did have that feud with Serena Deeb, but then there's times when she had stuff going on in Japan as well that I didn't get to see. So she was off of AEW television for that. So it's like that kind of messed with my list.
Mm-hmm.
I will say she is my top 10 for sure. She's actually number 8 behind 7 behind who was it that we said Serena Deeb, and then 6 Jade. So she is 8 for me. And hell, I'll even give you guys a little tidbit here for my number 9. If I did a top 10 women's list, 9 for me was Thunder Rosa. So you already know that I have 2 females on my top 2 that I think we all know who's going to be. So, but yeah, no, I totally agree with you on Sheeta. Like, she is just a workhorse. She is also the longest reigning women's champion in AEW history. She owns that record. So yeah, she is a workhorse. So I kind of see why you put her at that number 3 spot, Lane.
It's one of those things that just looking at our list, like there's so many, like that's how far that women's division has come. I know people are still negative about it, but if you're looking at it as a broader picture and instead of how those little spurts where it's like squash matches or jobber matches, there was a lot of great women's matches this year. I feel like there was actually more women's matches that were great this year compared to last year and year 1. So just to look at our list on how like we had to place them and how how like almost any of these women could be number 1, number 2. But I have a feeling our number 1 and 2 picks, I bet they're going to be flip flopped, or I think we're going to be on the same page with this. So Connor, who is your number 2 pick?
I got Jamie Hayter as number 2.
Yeah, same here.
Yep. Jamie Hayter has come along.
I got. Go ahead. Why you got them at number 2? Mine's flip flopped, but go ahead.
He's got a different pick. Okay.
I'll say Jamie Hayter's come a long way since day 1 of AEW. Episode 6, they were in Pittsburgh, I believe. She went against Britt Baker. Random match, but she came back a little bit after that match. Then she never came back, and then the first Rampage episode, that's when it all began with the full-on Jamie Hayter New look, she got into shape, new style, new everything. I didn't even recognize that was Jamie Hayter when she was on Rampage. But she's put on a lot of great matches this year with, Sheeta last night, Tony Storm,
The Fatal 4-Way.
Fatal 4-Way, Britt Baker,
That's
and
when,
I think it was Britt Baker and
Tony
Jamie Hayter
Storm.
versus and Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great match. I think that like opened the show one night. That match. Jamie Hayter is. I'm glad that she's champion, and she should definitely not lose that title anytime soon. And if she loses it to someone like, well, I hope not. I'm not gonna jinx it.
Don't jinx.
But I hope she has a great title reign as champion. So far she's done really good. First title defense was very good. Jamie Hayter has come a long ways. Like to being not necessarily a jobber because she wasn't really booked as a jobber when she first got there, but it's got to see that she's signed and she's
enhancement talent.
Yeah, she's like one of the top women's wrestlers in the entire division. The fans are behind her. Like the fans really carried her to that spot, and it seems like not necessarily like in the ring, but they boosted her to the next level. But yeah, Jamie Hayter is definitely going to be. I think next year she'll be at number 1 probably, if no injuries, no any setbacks or anything like that. But she's had an amazing year. So many great matches. Even like the pair with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker has been very good. Them together, like they could do it without Rebel, but them two together has been very, very good. I could see them as AEW Women's Tag Champs for sure. Jamie Hayter has had a Hayter year. It's been a Hayter year for her. Her match at Full Gear, Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter was very, very good. That was the best women's match I've ever had, like to see in attendance. Like the very best women's match I've ever seen live. But yeah, Jamie Hayter's number 2 for me.
You know, I want to kind of piggyback off what you said because a lot of those points were what I was about to say. With Hayter, you know, especially after that fatal 4-way match for the interim, you know, championship, you know, the fans were 100% behind her at that moment. Like you could see that, you know, everything started to click for her. She felt like she was coming out of her shell. You know, her strikes looked good. Her moveset looked a lot better. Like she's really is the most improved wrestler of the year. And of course, everything that she's doing with Britt Baker and the angles that she's working with that, you know, she had a great match last night. Like if you guys haven't watched our stream from last night, go back and watch it as soon as they won the champion, like as soon as that championship match was over, because I was freaking the F out with how her and Sheeta tore the house down. Hayter, like I said, very, very great talent this year. You know, I did not expect her to win the championship. If you asked me who was going to leave, you know, 2022 as champion, I would not have thought it was going to be Hayter. But to know that, you know, hey, you know, to know that has that women's division on her back now, and she's going to be a huge star this coming year. She's already a huge star now, but she is going to literally break away from Baker, and she is going to show the world that Hayter's going to hate, and she is just going to keep that momentum going. And you know what? If her reign lasts a year and she beats Sheeta for, you know, her reign, like, you know, that record, that'd be awesome.
I think Jade's coming up just a few days of beating Sheeta. She's at 340, and she's at 372. So.
But that's with the TBS title, not the
main title.
Yeah, but she would be the longest reigning AEW champion.
Yeah,
but the TBS title's a bad title anyway, so we don't count that.
It's sad because like they need to
say, like the woman made. How I say it, the woman
makes the title.
The woman makes the title. The belt doesn't make. Like the belt's making her at this point. Like.
It's almost like how the Intercontinental Championship was for a lot of people, where it had that lineage and it was almost ruined. So I'm hoping, you know what? I'm hoping that we get a new TBS champion in 2023, and we are going to do a predictions video next week.
How about next Wednesday, a new champion?
Yeah.
If I was looking at next week, Fatal 4-Way, Ruby Soho, Rashida wins till next week, ASAP, done.
Yeah. So, all right, Adam. I think I have a good guess on who your number 2 is. So why don't you enlighten us with this?
So number 2 for me is Toni Storm. Honestly, I know a lot of people were waiting for Jamie Hayter to win that title I'm going to call it the title. It wasn't an interim. It was the title. Everyone was waiting for Jamie and was behind Jamie winning that title in that Fatal 4-Way. I'm glad they gave it to Toni to start off on. And I think she had some really good defenses with it. Toni is I've been a big fan of Toni Storm, even back when she was in WWE, when she did the Mae Young Classic tournament, but you should watch some of her older matches, some of her matches in Progress Wrestling, in World Wonder Ring Stardom, the 2 female, promotions that, they had. She's had matches with Kimber Lee, with Candice LeRae. She's wrestled a lot of good wrestlers, and she puts on the work. She's kind of like Sheeta. Her and Sheeta are the same. They're workhorses, and you put them in the ring across from someone that's also workhorse, you're going to get magic in the ring. And that story with Jamie Hayter, talking about how they roomed together in Europe, during those promotions, how they wrestled in bars, their story, and that storyline between those two when they came, full gear, and I thought, Toni Storm carried that belt well. I'm glad she got a nice little lengthy reign with that title. And I'm glad that they actually acknowledged it was a woman's title reign, and not just an interim. But Toni Storm, I tell you, it's one of those underrated female wrestlers that does not get enough credit that she deserves with some of the matches put on. If you watch some of her matches in the Mae Young Classic tournament from WWE, holy cow. If you don't watch some of her old school independent wrestling matches, holy cow. Watch her and Candice LeRae back when they wrestled in Progress Wrestling. My God, some of the best matches I've ever seen was between her and Candice LeRae, because Candice LeRae is another one who's a workhorse too. So I'm putting Toni on my number 2. Do I see her maybe not going back towards the AEW women's title? Maybe not. Maybe I see they shift her to the TBS title. Maybe if they introduce, women's tag team titles in AEW, her and Sheeta team up and they go for that. I see her and Sheeta as a good tag team in AEW as a women's tag team. I think you put titles on them and they'll be workhorses for you. So number 2 for me was Toni Storm. So
very interesting. So I'm guessing that me and Connor probably have the same number 1. And I bet I bet your number 1 is who we picked for number 2. Am I correct, guys?
Yes.
That is scary.
Who do you got number 1?
Connor,
okay, so number 1.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Lane. Go ahead.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go, Adam, or do you want me to go?
No, go, Lane. Go, Lane.
So my number 1 pick is the girl, the woman that carried the championship, even though it was not the championship because of stupid interim bullshit. Toni Storm deserved to be called women's champion for that whole reign. I'm glad that it's finally acknowledged on her record that she is a women's champion. She had some of the best matches of both men's and women's division, was the most constantly booked wrestler on TV, this year, all the way up, until the pay-per-view, until she got hurt. So she had to be my number 1 pick.
I think she would have wrestled with her injury. Like, that's how it workhorse. I think she would have wrestled through it. I met Toni Storm at Full Gear, and she said that her entire run has been like she hates being called interim. It's underwhelming. She's defended it every week, and just like now it means something, but the whole entire reign to her then didn't mean anything. But I'm glad they gave her that. Like, it wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
But I hope she's won. I hope she wins it back again this next year and actually has the reign she wanted. Even though like it is official right now, official title it's official. It's recognized now, but the full thing's recognized. No, they don't do
but to actually have that reign as the full-on champion without it being especially added to it, because it's still a great thought, but she should have been all along, since Thunder Rosa dropped she should have dropped the belt sooner. So I'm glad that she was at least able to call her a world champion, not just the interim to the world champion. Like my office there.
I'm glad at the end of it. I'm glad at the end of it they recognized her, because if she would have, like, that would have been so unfair. Like Jamie, they take the title off of Thunder Rosa and she's a new champion, and then Tony Storm just did all that for nothing. I'm glad they recognized her as a women's champion. Like that's the right thing to do, because she was a better champion than Thunder Rosa. I feel like, even though, but that's not even Thunder Rosa's fault really. It's not Wardlow's fault. Kind of like the same thing. That's just the way it was booked. But Tony Storm has, she was like 11, 12, or 11, maybe 13 weeks in a row on Dynamite every week. She went against Sheeta. She went against so many that she went against. I believe she
Rio. I think she had a match against Rio, didn't she? Yeah.
Yep. She it was 13 weeks in a row. I can't remember everyone she's went against, but her All Out match was good. The Dynamite Grand Slam Fatal 4 match was good. She just on Dark before. Oh, her match against Ema Sakura was very good on Dark. But she's not afraid to work any show. Like, she'll work Dynamite, Dark, Rampage, pay-per-views. Like, she'll do it all. Like, and every match she's had, she's made the best out of it. But yeah, she's definitely number one for me. She's definitely outworked. No, I ain't gonna say her name.
But good. We gotcha. We know who you're talking about. And everybody listens to the podcast. We know exactly that name that you do not want to say, because she is like Voldemort to you.
But she's very talented, and she's put the women's division on a whole nother level. But them adding like Jamie Hayter, Serena Deeb, Toni Storm, all these women that they've set the bar to a whole nother level with the women that you already had, like Baker and Sheeta. Like, this is raising the bar even more. Toni Storm was a great every week women's wrestler consistently. She never, I believe, with her eyes, she would have still wrestled in every next week. I believe she would have, and she would have went for another, and she'd gone for another 30-minute match with Toni Storm. Jamie Hayter. She would have went for another 30 minutes. I got Toni Storm at number one.
Yeah, definitely a good pick. It's very interesting to see how close our list were. So, Adam, why don't you go ahead and give us your number one? Because I feel like people aren't going to hate on your pick.
I see what you did there, sir. Yeah, number one for me is your current AEW Women's Champion, recognized after her victory at Full Gear, Miss Jamie Hayter. Hayter's gonna hate. She's really come a long way. Based off what Connor said, she's really progressed herself. She changed her look up. She changed her style of how she acts as a persona. Even partnering up with someone like Britt Baker, who's been there since day one, having her by her side, which in real life, they're probably the best of friends, and they help each other out. And that's why they're both in my top 5. Jamie Hayter is a workhorse. It goes back to even her Independent days, working that circuit, like I said, with her and Toni Storm working together in what was it, World Wonder Ring of Stardom, which is the all women's promotion. That's where they started their feud, and now it carried over to a big scene like that. Her and that match at Full Gear was by far my favorite women's match all year. So when we ask what's your favorite, at any division with your males and females, that match at Full Gear between Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter was my favorite match, like one of my favorite matches of the year. And it was probably the best females match I saw all year outside of that steel cage match with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. But Jamie Hayter has really gotten the crowd behind her. And that's what a wrestler does. A professional wrestler gets the crowd behind you, whether it's good heat or good fan or good just face reaction. she's that heel, but she gets that face reaction from the crowd. That's how you know she's doing her job, that she's entertaining the people. She plays to it with her persona. Even last night we saw it when she was, she threw Sheeta into the stairs. She went over the table and kissed her title. Like that's the cockiness, but she's playing to that part and she does it so well. But when you're working with someone like Britt Baker, and like you guys said, yes, I am waiting for them to pull the trigger on that Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter feud, because I think by far that will be a great women's match with those two going face to face. But Jamie Hayter, I will tell you straight up, has got a bright future in 2023. I really do hope she does hold the title for a good long reign, and eventually drops it and then gets it back eventually, so she could become a two-time women's champion. And she's very young, and she's hold on, let me. Sorry, I got a text. I don't know what it was. Yeah, no. She's very young. She's in her mid-20s. So she's got that career ahead of her. And now she's got this title. She can run with it, and there's so many good matches. Maybe we have another, Hayter Sheeta match down the line. We can have Jamie versus Tony again. Heck, even working a pace with Saraya, however you say her name. But having a good pace match with her eventually would be really good. The feuds are there. The storylines are there. And I just think towards the end of this year, like you said, Lane, who would have expected someone like Jamie Hayter go into 2023 as your women's champion AEW? Nobody expected that. I'm only going to touch upon it just a little bit because don't want to go too deep into it. But, Thunder Rosa had that feel-good moment, at the steel cage winning that. Had a decent run with the title. I wouldn't say it was the best, but it was decent. She had good feuds with Britt winning that title and going into Nyla Rose, and then her with Mercedes Martinez. She had some decent matches. I mean, I was at Connor. You were at that show too when she had that. She had that in February. She had that street fight with DQ match with Mercedes. Before she won the title. Yeah. So. And it's unfortunate that injuries happen, but it's at the point where, listen, I know it hurts that, you had to give up that title, but listen, it's for the better of the business, and you've always got another opportunity to get it back, so I feel comfortable with Jamie Hayter as your champion right now because she can put on hell of a match. She's just like Toni Storm, like you guys said. She's a workhorse. She will put the matches in. She's been consistently on TV week in and week out, whether it's a match or whether it's an in-ring promo. She gets physical. I just think she's got a great, bright future. So
it's the little things that she does in her match, like you said, especially last night, the kissing the title. Like there's a lot of little things that she's done. She did 2 great fire up spots last night with those near falls. So she definitely deserves to be on the top of our list, and I'm glad that she was number 1 on one of our lists. So that's going to be an interesting poll. We'll have Connor posted later on our social at All Elite Zone Pod 1. And we'd love to see who you guys think was number 1 with our picks, and then leave a comment in the section below to say who was your number 1 pick for our female wrestlers of the year. It was a really good year for the women's division. There were some sloppy parts, but other than that,
it was just mainly one person or two.
Yeah.
Not everyone, just 2 people, 1 or 2 people.
And a little side note too. I know we're moving along here, but just going back, and again, because I love their show so much, Busted Open. Bully Ray or Tommy, one of them mentioned the finish last night to that women's match, and how she had to do 3 different variations of her clothesline just to win the match. One of them had kind of compared it to Japanese pro wrestling, the New Japan, where do the falls, they have to do different variations of their finishers just to try to win the match. Sometimes they start off with their finisher, try to win the match. So I thought that was really cool, and the psychology of it too. So I mean, that's another thing. So, but
yeah, I thought it was, like I said, it's been a lot of fun for this week and last week doing our top 5. So I got the poll results pulled up from last week because I think I saw a couple people post about it in the chat. And your winner, because we actually had a lot of votes on this one. I'm actually proud of this.
Was it 31 votes?
Yeah, 31 votes with 81%. I thought it was gonna be a little bit closer than this, but 81% CM Punk is your All Elite Zone podcast male wrestler of the year, decided by you fans. So congratulations, CM Punk. I know it's a big accomplishment for your
who was the other one?
It was
CM Punk, MJF and Moxley. Moxley had 19% and 0% for MJF.
I wish he would have retweeted that, MJF. Because
that would be great. Punk, someone should have tagged him.
CM Punk recently just said he doesn't like people from Long Island on his boxing commentary. The feud's still going, like they'll never end.
So I thought it was a really fun. I thought it was a really fun poll, and like I said, we'll post our women's our poll up later, either today or tomorrow.
I'm curious to see this one more than the.
This one's gonna be interesting.
I think this one's gonna be very close. Like I think percentage wise, it's gonna be very, very very close.
Yeah. So before we get into our last topic of the night. Who do you guys have a standout wrestler from last week that stood out to you guys? Actually, who was your standout? Oh, I was about to say, there's probably one guy that's top of my list right now.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. He's on my list right now, and I mean, even last night, the way he sold that fireball. Holy crap. Like you replay it and slow down and just watch the footage. It looks like it got literally in his face. Like apparently, that's how good he sold it.
Apparently it burnt his head and he has a nice good second-degree burn on his head from it.
I mean, that's someone just like, dude, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. You guys put me on in front of the camera, whatever you guys need me to do. It's someone that knows the business that will, go to those heights. So I'm gonna go with Connor, and Action Andretti is mine from last week. So
just being there when he won, because I'm like, why are we doing a jobber match like this? And to have him come out and on top and be great against Jericho and having that surprise victory, he went from looking like a jobber towards the end because of Jericho and his own in-ring work, just stepping it up to another level to get him to where, I know there's been a lot of signings this year, but
he's been the best. Yep.
He deserves it. He deserves it from the two matches that he's had with Dynamite and on Dark, and then his segment from last night. I'm excited to see what this kid's got. He really impressed me being there on Wednesday. And when our Winter is Coming vlog comes out, you'll see my facial reactions. It's very genuine. It's a shock. I'm excited to see his feud. I'm okay with his feud with Jericho and the JAS. I bet it's interesting to see if it's going to intertwine with Ricky Starks. So a lot of people don't like how the JS is being booked right now because they're the front of the show, it feels like. But I feel like there's a lot of meat on the bones with Starks and with Action Andretti. So it's going to be fun to see.
We need CM Punk to save us so he can fill that gap in. Which I really hope it's CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite. That pay-per-view worthy match. We'll see though. We'll see.
Yeah. I think things are going to get better. They're having a new set design for this year.
I don't want to talk about controversy.
Connor's had a rough few days with it.
I just throw that out because CM Punk, I feel like he'd improve that little gap, star power. I hope Adam Cole's able to come back pretty soon in the new year.
Yeah, because I think
did you guys hear about this stupid rumor about why Adam Cole's on TV?
Oh, it's because he's injured and he's upset because apparently Britt slept with Jericho, Tony Schiavone. I can't remember who was on that list, but I'm like, guys, he's legit hurt. Calm down, and if just go read your dirt sheets and just calm down. Because
plus with Britt, I was like, how does Britt have time to do all that when she has to go to the show and then go do her dental work in Orlando? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
there's no time in between any of that. She's pulling double duty.
I know.
And then you just see Adam Cole playing Kirby in the background, what, babe? What was that sound?
He's back playing
Kirby.
He's back playing up, down, down, down with like Xavier Woods and all them. They they have the party back on YouTube. They are all playing video games again. You know, him, Claudio, Xavier, and I think Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze,
I think all four. They're called the Party. So like I think they're back doing the channel now with all the video games. So one of the questions in the comments actually is a good one for us to discuss.
Okay, good.
From Ethan. If you want to pull it up, because I think you know which one I'm talking about. Connor is who do you guys think is? Yeah. So that's a really good one too, since we're talking about women's wrestling. So what about who do you think, Lane? You're the host. I'm going to let you of this show. So I'm gonna let you
well, thank you. The host better start first. It's hard. There's two people I've been thinking about today because we were discussing this in our group chat when we discussed business, and we were talking about this. My two ideas. Number one of them is I think it's going to be returning Chris Statlander. I think to have Chris Statlander come back. And because she's getting close to healing up from her surgery, it seems like her rehab's gone well. So I could see it being Chris. And my other pick, which is the one I think they're gonna go with, like not 100%, but I'm thinking 70% sure is Sasha Banks. Okay. I know a lot of people are thinking with the ego thing, and I didn't like her character in WWE, but that's just personal preference. But the whole she's gonna come in, have ego, she's gonna bury Hater, and like some of your day ones or the ones that AEW is built up. I think Sasha Banks will be her partner just because everything with Bow Wow. And to be honest with you, I think she might be the one if this is gonna happen. I think she'll be the one to defeat Jade and build that title back up. Hopefully, it's not an ego thing if she does come over. Like, I will give anybody the benefit of the doubt. I will give her, a chance because I've been frustrated with work where I was an asshole. Like my last job, I'll admit it. There was times where I hated my job, and I've walked out a couple of times because of it. And so I understand where she is coming from in her frustration. Like, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but on paper, and to have someone that could come in and help draw. And especially if the network is pushing for her, I think it's going to be Sasha. And yes, I'm looking at the comments, and David brings up a very good point. She did let her fans down, but the same thing can be said for what happened with the whole media scrum. It can be set up throughout wrestling history. Unfortunately, it's business. And the thing is these guys are still human. And I'm going to give Sasha the benefit of the doubt. If it is Sasha, I will give her a chance. Now, if she starts showing signs and doing stuff that I don't agree with, or Tony starts booking her to where she's burying talent, then yes, I will be upset with it. And you know what? Unfortunately, it's going to happen where wrestlers are going to let us down. It sucks. I've been let down before when CM Punk left. When he left WWE, I was so heartbroken over that. Same thing with Cody. When Cody left AEW, I thought he let me down.
For CM Punk, I can't be heartbroken because I got out of wrestling in 2011. It is a stupid part.
That's true.
I got out of wrestling in 2011, right when Brock Lesnar came back. I got back into wrestling in 2015 when Rollins and Lesnar was going at it. Mm-hmm. I got back into wrestling when Lesnar was back too. So still there. So, but I had it with. I was like 12 years old, and I had it with WWE. I can remember the one thing. It was like the brand split. I always was fantasize about the brand split. Mm-hmm. I loved being able to play GM mode on the games and stuff. And I just did away with that. And then Jeff Hardy, he was my favorite wrestler. He left. So basically watched TNA with them for a while. I just watched basketball and my teenage years. Yeah, so I can't be heartbroken about that.
Yeah. But that was because yeah.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I don't know if you were saying, I was going to say, Connor, who do you think will be Saraya's partner?
I got AJ Lee.
Ooh, okay.
Saraya,
that's an interesting one.
Was it WrestleMania 31? Them two teamed up. It could be Sasha, as Adam mentioned. Sasha was beating herself up for her injury a few years ago. And Soraya's today like, I'm back now. Like, there's no reason to keep on hanging on to that. It could be Soraya. I would love for it to be Chris Statlander, but ACL tears, you don't come back. I mean, it is possible. Like Seth Rollins did do it, but Seth Rollins is the only person that I know who has done that. Come back in like 6 months. And like if you watched his WWE 24 documentary, the pain he went through like that, but it is possible. But I don't think it's Tony Storm now. And if it is, I need to announce it now, so we won't have a lot of complaining fans on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I got AJ Lee.
So I'm gonna kind of be split here, because my concept is it going to be someone new? Is it going to be someone returning? If it is someone returning, as much as I'd love to see Chris Statlander, I again, like you said, Connor, the tears are very hard to come back from. A lot of rehabilitation on them. I have a sibling tore both their ACLs. And so on both knees, like years apart, but they tore both. They tore both. So they had that, and the rehabilitation's a really long time. So if it's someone returning, I think it'll be Thunder Rosa. If she's medically cleared, she said in a lot of her reports, a lot of her blogs, she's saying, I'm getting there. I'm almost ready to return. So if it's anyone that's returning, I think it's going to be a Thunder Rosa. And just based on the history between her and Britt Baker, it makes sense storyline wise. If it is someone new, again, it could be a Sasha Banks. A lot of signs point to Sasha just because of her, contract with New Japan, and we all know that Tony loves working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. She's going to be at Wrestle Kingdom, whether it's in a wrestling capacity or just being on screen capacity. She's going to be there. With the contract that Tony likes to share with New Japan, bringing New Japan Pro Wrestlers in. I do see Sasha coming in as part of like maybe having that part-timer schedule where she's not always there. But if she does do a full-time schedule, I'm with Lane. I see her as someone that if Chris Statlander can't come back healthy-wise and they need to rebuild that TBS title, Sasha is someone that can put, a little more glare and a little more focus and build that TBS title back up. Then when Chris Statlander comes back, maybe, Sasha will be cool enough and be like, listen, here you go. You've been here longer than I have. I respect that. Let's have you give you a run. It's kind of that rub in, so, but yeah, no, I could totally see a Sasha. But again, like Lane said, as soon as drama starts, again, you need to drop the drama. It's a business. It's not high school. You're and like you said, Lane, these are humans. Yes, was Sasha unhappy where she was? She was. She's got a lot of opportunities there, though.
Mm-hmm.
She's won women's titles there. She had great feuds in that company. But it's when your ego gets bigger than the industry, you're not welcomed anywhere. Yeah. And that's what I fear with Sasha is, she's grown that ego. Like, can she put her ego aside if she gets signed for this company?
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a big if with Sasha because report said, well, actually not just a report, but Instagram video of her and Bailey talking to each other. Sasha said it was always her dream to wrestle New Japan. That's where she wanted to go. And now she's there. Okay, cool. We're all seeing it, right? I'm just okay. Yeah. So, I mean, with that, I mean, she's got to put her ego aside if that's what she wants. So that's just my viewpoint out of it.
We talked about this recently. You brought the same kind of point. They don't need another ego like they just had with CM Punk, and if they want to, they can talk about CM Punk all they want, but he never dropped a belt, and just gave it to someone and say, "Here, I'm done." I'm like he never did that in WWE. He never did it anywhere he went. But if they're gonna down CM Punk, then who's to say they're not gonna down Sasha and her woes?
Right?
They don't need to add another ego. They don't need that right now. have enough backstage drama as it is. Like, not even just CM Punk, like have Andrade and Sammy get into a brawl, Eddie Kingston and Santana get into a backstage brawl, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, even though they hate each other, they put on good matches.
They were able to put it aside and work together, though. Like, they're at least able to be professional about it.
But I can see Sasha coming in and like she owns the place, and Britt Baker has been there since day one. And I can just see that already. I don't know what happens backstage, but
I mean, it's a lot of. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's an industry where there's going to be a lot of backstage politicking. Obviously,
I just hope
it happens in every industry, and actually happens in every company within pro wrestling. I mean, you see the same people as world champions year in, year out.
I just hope that she reinvents herself like Jericho did in New Japan. And I love Sasha, but I can't. Like, WWE's all about singing and dancing. Every time she come out, New Day singing and dancing. Now Hit Row, Mid-Row singing and dancing. I mean, come on, where does the singing and dancing end? Like, that's why I don't watch WWE. I'm not tuning into Disney Channel. Like, I'm tuning in to watch wrestling. I don't want to watch Disney Channel. Like,
hi, I'm Roman Reigns. I'm the head of the table, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Like Sesame Street, I don't want to watch that crap. Like, that's why I don't watch WWE. I mean, people complain like they can have fun, but yeah, but do it off air. Like, no one wants to see dancing, pancakes, cereal. No one wants to see and I'm there to watch wrestling. And if you are going to do comedy, make it good comedy. Like, their comedy sucks. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, Triple H is still there, and it still sucks. The comedy.
It's called writers.
I just hope, but Sasha's a great in-ring performer. Just drop the dancing, drop the singing, drop the ego, and you're set.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's about time to just wrap it up. So before we get off the air, I want you guys to give me, what was your favorite Christmas themed moment in wrestling? I think the one for me that stands out is the whole when Stone Cold Claus stunned McMahon.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just love that because it's like, and just having and then having and just that whole reveal of Stone Cold. It was just a fun tribute to the troops moment. I liked it, and I love Stone Cold Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Or Santa Austin. It depends on how you want.
I can't remember. Like, it's
Santa
just like,
Austin.
I can't remember any Christmas stuff.
There's one we done the stream, Connor.
I will say this. This is going back. This is going back way, way, way far. It was back when the formation of DX happened.
I thought that you were fixing to talk about. I thought you said way back. I thought you used to go back to Pedro Morales, Don Morocco.
Oh, not that far back though. Not that far back. Not those guys.
Adam's not that old.
Respect. Yeah, thanks. The grays in my beard don't show it, but it's okay. No, it was during the formation of DX, and one of the Christmas episodes, they came out in just Santa like jocks with like the Christmas ham hanging, and there's China in the middle of them, just like going, "This bit is fucking stupid, but it's getting people over."
Yes, I love that.
People over.
I totally forgot about that.
It was just, they were just talking about it, and then they're like, "Christmas, like Santa came early this year." Like, it's like, oh my god, stop! But I was like, because I was 10 years old, I was like, this is kind of funny. I don't know why. This is kind of funny, but why are those guys naked? Like,
10-year-old.
It just stuck with me. I'm just like,
it was kind of funny.
But all I remember is China's face because, all I remember is China's face because China's expressions never changed. She was dead serious the entire time, no matter what they were doing, trying to make them laugh. Like, she was dead face. So her there, standing there with just like Christmas stuff, just going, not even laughing and just shaking her head like, this is unbelievable.
Yes.
So anytime DX did anything Christmas-wise, just cracked me up.
I loved it. I loved it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now. I'm gonna celebrate Christmas with DX.
What?
They had a lot of good Christmas moments.
May have some breaking I think I had breaking news last time we were on here.
Go ahead, Connor.
What was the breaking news last time? Like throughout Tuesday, they have breaking news on here. I don't know what it was, but Dax Harwood is having his own podcast, and the first person to be on his podcast and we CM Punk.
Oh, I'm gonna have to listen to that one. I'm curious now.
Oh yeah. What's the name of his podcast? I'll have to look it up.
FTR with Dax Hardwood, isn't it? I think it's FTR with Dax Hardwood.
FTR with Dax. Yeah. Next Thursday, CM Punk on the show. Not as a guest, but
a co-host.
So this is being put by Ringside News, so I don't know. AEW will be debuting with not next Thursday with CM Punk, not as a guest, but as the topic per or what the F stands for family, for tequila, and R for wrestling.
Ooh.
So that's source close. I don't know if this is true because it's about Ringside. You gotta watch that for Ringside now.
But his podcast, at least, I can't wait to see. I'm going to listen to it because he's one of the greatest wrestling minds of our modern generation right now. And I bet he'll be talked about just like Arn and Tully were, just like, like some of the greats, so I'm excited to see what he has to say.
I haven't seen anyone else put it, so if it's on by Ringside, it's not true.
You heard it here first. CM Punk will be his guest.
I hope so. This will be let down if it's not.
But I think it'll be a good show either way.
But there's no way CM Punk's just going to go in there and just talk. He's going to drop something. He always does. Yeah.
He'll just make fun of the MJF the whole time.
Kentucky lady.
Kentucky lady. Appreciate the listen.
Now, do you live in Kentucky, or is your name just Kentucky? Curious.
Nice. Yeah. Connor, did you
okay.
You're doing the...
I don't know. I don't know what I know what you're referring to, him saying that he plans on going against Cody Rhodes very, very soon or something. I don't know. Dax was he's like that with CM Punk. Like one time they said that FTR like they use the term top guys out. So everyone thought, oh, they're retiring or what. They're always like that. Dax was good about that. He's very
gotta think two steps ahead.
It could be good and bad because it gives people stuff to complain about.
Yeah. So
people like to complain. Wrestling fans are fickle.
Ooh, yeah. It's and like wrestlers just stir the pot, That's and I love when they stir the pot, especially like I said, MJF's great about it, Matt Cardona's great about it, Dax, stirring the pot. Yeah. It's awesome.
Dax is great at that. It could be a good thing and a bad thing, but on Twitter it's a bad thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So all right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for Talking Elite with my wonderful panel, Connor and Adam. Thank you guys again for joining us.
Mr. Jacobs
was not able to make it tonight. Mr. Jacobs, thank you still for listening. I'm glad that you left this wonderful comment, and we hope to have you on hopefully either next week or the week after. Because one of the greatest minds. David, thank you so much for listening. Hope you're having a great Christmas. Thanks, Mike. Serena and Athena is hard to choose. We were discussing that earlier. Both of those ladies are just killer in the ring and putting over women left and right, even if they're winning. So it's great. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, it was a great show tonight. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Make sure you guys follow us, on our YouTube, so that way you guys can see our new content coming out. Connor is being like an elf this year and just has a lot of cool videos in the work. We got 2 current videos that are getting ready to be released soon, and some more that are probably going to be coming out in the near future. Make sure you guys follow.
So this is kind of a like it's like 30 minutes after this is done, the Winter's Coming vlog will be out.
It's supposed to be up tonight. Okay.
Yeah, 30 minutes after this is done, Talking Elite, then it'll be up at least 30 minutes after this is done.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Winter's Coming. It was a lot of fun, film the vlog, so go check out my point of view. Thanks, Connor, again, for editing and just being a rock star with it. We really do appreciate all your work. Also, go follow us on Spotify. We want to be in your top 5 next year. we were top 5 on my list. So go ahead and start listening to all the podcasts now. So we'll be your top 5 next year. Drog, thanks for listening.
Ken, we had a discussion. He'll be on in the new year for sure. We had an earlier option, but with Christmas coming up, it's just not possible. But he'll take it with a grain of salt, I guess. The plan is for him to come in sometime in January. Yeah, just take that for what it is.
Yeah. So go follow us on Twitter just so you can keep updated with that. It was kind of a little weird situation, but go like us on Twitter. Hashtag All Elite Zone 1 because we post polls on there. We, of course, will post show updates, guests that are coming on. Connor has got some cool guests lined up for 2023. So thank you guys so much for being a part of our podcast and part of our family. And thank you guys so much for watching Talking Elite. We will see you next week with our top tag teams and our 2023 predictions. It's going to be a little bit longer of an episode next week, but we are a gifting podcast. So we're going to gift you guys a really cool big episode next week with predictions and our top tag teams. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks again, Adam. Thanks again, Connor. And we will see you guys next time.